An argument over football led to an employee's death. He was murdered by another employee. Very interesting information. Part 2 of this live is also my continued coverage of a nursing home in Colonial Heights, Virginia. I'm going to bring you more information pertaining to complaints and warnings given allegedly to this nursing home. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome. Live stream. Happy holidays, everybody.
Details surrounding a deadly stabbing at a Kroger distribution center. Memphis police say 55-year-old Anderson Todd is responsible for killing his coworker, 38-year-old Jacoby Hobson Sr. WREG's Quimitra Wilborn breaks down what witnesses say led to the attack.
18-wheelers line up outside the Kroger distribution center on Bledsoe Cove Friday morning. Truckers say they're unable to make their deliveries because the facility is closed.
Today's Friday, if I'm not getting unloaded today, I'm going to be stuck here until the new year.
Unfortunately, these truckers aren't the only ones not finishing the year with their loved ones. A spokesman with Kroger says the facility is closed until the investigation into the death of an employee is finished.
No place is safe, even your colleagues,
Family members identify the victim as 38-year-old father and football coach Jacoby Hobson Sr. Memphis police say Hobson's coworker, 55-year-old Anderson Todd, is responsible for fatally stabbing him. Court records say at least 2 witnesses claim Hobson and Todd were arguing before the killing. Hobson's cousin says the argument was over football.
Kobe with a dude over football, and they got to tussling, and a man pulled out the knife and stabbed him once in the thigh, 3 times in his stomach, and cut his throat.
Okay, so let's go back to this guy, Mr. Hopkins, football coach, employee at this Kroger distribution center. Now, this is what's baffling, which is probably not baffling to many people who are around people who may be considered hotheads. This guy here, 38, father, football coach, argued with the other employee who's 55, also a black man. And you're going to hear that this guy here jumped off his area to confront the 55-year-old man. Stay woke now. Employee 1 arguing with another employee, don't know if it's about college ball, NFL, who's better, who ain't, did they bet on a game? The point is, this one here who's now dead, he basically was trying to get the other guy to fight him, the 55-year-old. Let's finish this.
3 times in his stomach and cut his throat.
A witness tells police he watched Hobson, quote, get off his forklift, walk over to Todd, and invite him to come to an area of the warehouse that didn't have cameras so they could.
Why would you want to fight on your job over football? Why would you want to fight on your job about anything? Stay woke now. You went over to say something to lure this man away from his area where someone says there were no cameras. So obviously people are watching this unfold. So how many people watched the altercation, the argument, which led to then the murder of Mr. Hopkins? So isn't this interesting? Mr. Hopkins is the one trying to get the 55-year-old man to fight. You're going to hear more crazy, devastating information. He's now dead over this football argument.
Fight, end quote. According to this same witness, Todd refused to fight until Hobson allegedly pulled Todd's skull cap over Todd's face. Police report says that's when things became physical between the two, and Todd could reportedly be seen swinging his arm in a stabbing motion. The witness says when he broke up the fight, Hobson collapsed while Todd sat in the break room area to wait for the police. Hobson died from his injuries, and Todd now faces a second-degree murder charge. Reporting for your news leader from Southeast Memphis, Kwame Wilborn, WREG.
The center remains closed at this time. We do not anticipate noticeable interruptions within the supply chain that supports the stores.
Let's go back.
And
Can cut his throat.
a witness tells police he watched Hobson, quote,
over football, and they got the tussling, and a man pulled out the knife and stabbed him once in the thigh, 3 times in his stomach, and cut his throat.
A witness tells police he watched Hobson, quote, get off his lift, walk over to Todd, and invite him to come to an area of the warehouse that didn't have cameras so they could fight, end quote. According to this same witness, Todd refused to fight until Hobson allegedly pulled Todd's skull cap over Todd's face. Police report says that's when things became physical between the two, and Todd could reportedly be seen swinging his arm in a stabbing motion.
There you have it. How many people are going to testify? How many people gave a statement? How many people gave a statement? How many people are going to testify? You see, the dead man allegedly instigated this fight. So some would say, why is this man being charged with murder? The district attorney is going to say what? Well, you should have walked away. Well, it's kind of hard to walk away after somebody's pulled your skull cap over your face. He literally walked up to the man and confronted him. So maybe they were arguing back and forth, loud talking about the football team game, whatever. Don't really know what the football wrangling was about. But the point is, the 38-year-old victim is the one who went over out of his area to confront Mr. Todd, 55-year-old black man. They say this man, 55, did not want to fight him. But what are you going to do when somebody's now in your personal space and take your skull cap and pull it down over your face? You're going to retaliate. That's what you're going to do. Or you walk away. Take your pick. He just so happened to have a knife on him. He lives in Memphis. That does not shock me. Because Memphis is a dangerous city, for those of you who do not know. So I'm sure there are many men walking around with weapons, just like there are women who walk around with weapons. And who would think they would need a weapon on their job? Well, obviously he had it in his pocket, or he probably keeps it on him. Don't even think about it. Hey, put it in your pocket with your keys, whatever, your money, keep it moving. So now we got to ask ourselves, had these two argued on the job before, Mr. Todd and Mr. Hopkins? Did they fraternize outside of work? Do they know each other outside of work? Friends outside of work? Which position did each one hold inside of this factory? Any other type of altercations, arguments between the two about other type of topics, situations? So you got to ask all those questions, because this seems extensive for the 38-year-old to walk over to this man and pull his skull cap down after they've been arguing over football. He wanted this man to fight, so that's why he walked up to him. So it looks like to me that Mr. Hopkins, who is the dead man, he was a hothead, and he probably has argued with people before, gotten loud, gotten unruly, just like I had told you all a few weeks ago when I was out one Wednesday night. Allegedly, some guys were disputing football as well, and it did look kind of heated to me. Then the rumor was, well, it was no big deal. I thought, well, it was big enough for the owners to flip the lights on and tell us to get the hell out. And then guess what? One of those guys who happened to be arguing or debating, let's say, he happens to be a football coach. Stay woke, everybody. And he was the one that had the serious look on his face a few weeks ago when I was out at the cafe. And a week or two later, he's back in there, bubbly, drinking. And the first thing I was thinking to myself is, school board and told them of your behavior inside of this little restaurant, juke joint, that you have gotten yourself heated up, arguing, debating, and you're also under the influence of alcohol, which we know can exacerbate a situation. Don't know if any of these guys were drinking on the job, but you understand what I'm saying. This is how things get out of when you factor in alcohol. And why lose your job over a disagreement over football? Because as I had told people before, a few people I told about the situation, I said, well, the guy who was bickering with the other guy about football, whatever. He seemed awfully serious looking for it to be allegedly no big deal. Because, people love to put their 2 cents in when they weren't there. Well, I heard this. And I said, well, I was there. And I saw the expression on the guy's face, and he was standing there not talking. And that's usually a bad sign when a person is standing somewhere and the other person is loud talking and the other person is just standing there with their mouth closed. That's usually when there's a jump off, if you get my drift. If you've ever seen altercations between people. The coach was standing there stoic, looking down at the guy with, a snared look. Like, keep talking. You understand what I'm saying? And I think it's interesting that now I have this story weeks later of a 38-year-old man on his job trying to instigate a fight with this guy, which he did, and this guy won. So you have to be careful running that mouth. I'm going to keep it real. You cannot go up to someone and get in their face. Okay, it's one thing to just be arguing feet away from a person. 20 feet, 30 feet. Then we get closer. And allegedly they're saying the other guy who's dead, he was trying to get this guy to go fight in an area where there are no cameras. Why the hell would you want to go fight on your job? Help the queen understand. Are we this desperate for attention and validation that we're going to fight on our job, as hard as it is to sustain out here? Bills are high sky, groceries high, everything's high. You're willing to risk getting fired and also catch a charge, go to jail on your job over football. So what exactly was the argument over, as I said? College football, NFL, high school. Help me understand what was so important. And this guy was defending himself. Now, did he have to pull out the knife? No. He did. Because that's going to be an argument as well. Well, you didn't have to pull the knife out. You could have just fought him. You could have just walked away. No black man, let me tell you, whether he want to fight or not, is going to allow another man to pull his skull cap down over his face and do nothing. We're going to keep that shit real. And I won't doubt that man would have fought back as well, even if he didn't use a knife. You understand what I'm saying? It's the way it is. But they were going to be tussling and fighting. As you heard eyewitness say, they got the tussle. A relative of the dead man, obviously she worked there at the plant, I guess. And then this guy started stabbing him. They said he was using a stabbing motion. Stabbed the man several places. And then he said he cut his throat. And that's what's going to be argued in court. Sir, you didn't have to stab him, number one. Number two, you could have just brawled with him. Number three, you didn't have to keep stabbing. Didn't have to pull out the knife. That's what the prosecutor is going to say in court. Number one, you didn't have to use the knife. You could have just fought him. You could have walked away. So we're going to ask that question on a poll. Should this man have walked away? Even after the guy pulled his skull cap down over his head, should this man here have done nothing? Number two, fought him. Number three, pulled out a knife. Weigh in.
Senior. Memphis police say Hobson.
Mr. Hopkins is the alleged instigator, football coach, father, who had to get the last word and put his hands on another grown-ass man in public on a job over football. So, sir, you lost the argument. Let's keep it real. Whatever it was about wasn't worth your life, because maybe you thought this was just some punk-ass black man and you wanted to show him who you are and what you about and what you know. But in the end, you lost your life viciously on a job in public with eyewitnesses over absolutely nothing. That's my take on this murder. second-degree murder. I don't think this man should be in jail. But the laws, hey, you killed him, so even though you were fighting, even though this man instigated it, you took out a knife, you stabbed him, and he died. What's going to be interesting is when they go to trial. How many people are going to defend this guy here? Although he's dead, naturally he's got family, they're mourning him, they're crying, they're upset. But you got to think about the totality of crime in this city and in general. A person went to their job minding their business, and this guy is upset over football, and he just couldn't let it go. So he incited an argument and then an altercation with another coworker, wanted to fight the man, tried to lure him from his spot to another area. This is from eyewitnesses now, if you believe their testimony. And then still went over to the man anyway and pulled his skull cap down. So he had to have known this man was going to try to fight him back. But that's what he wanted in the first place, right? Of course. I'm going to be truthful with you. I don't feel anything for this man here. If the account is accurate or seen at the job by co-workers, spectators, that he had been arguing with the man beforehand, he was trying to lure the other man, Mr. Todd, from his area. Then he went over to the man and put his hands on the man by pulling his hat down, his skull cap. I don't feel sorry for him, because my thing is this: I don't have to wish death on this man or anybody that gets themselves in that type of situation, but you are asking for trouble when you went over in his personal space. You could have left it alone. You, first of all, are on your job, so you all shouldn't even be getting heated and arguing over anything. You have got to learn self-control. All of us do. Your job is not the place for this, but it's easy to pop off. I get it, over the silliest and most simplest of things. But football, that has nothing to do with work. That has nothing to do with Kroger, food, nothing. So that shouldn't even been a conversation worth getting heated over, because you're supposed to be doing what at your job? Working. So this man is now dead because he wanted to instigate a fight with another coworker, and that coworker gave him the business. He stabbed him to death. And you're going to hear all type of things about this guy here, I'm sure. Nice things, bad things, people hollering, crying, my daddy, my brother, I can't believe that guy stabbed him. I can. Because he went looking for a fight, and he got just what he went looking for. He got death. He thought maybe he was going to show this guy up, beat him up, and that guy pulled a knife on him, and he stabbed him to death. That's the end result. Let's go to my community page and answer some polls. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vote Excel. Hello, Skylar. I asked you all yesterday, well, today rather, about Beyonce and Jay-Z. As most of you know, has been accused of sexually assaulting a child back in 2000. She was 13 at the time. She's an adult now. And there may be some rumors circulating that possibly Beyonce may be wanting to divorce her husband, allegedly. Sources say, I read an article, don't know if it's true or not, that her friends are urging her to leave her husband should she divorce Jay-Z after these allegations. Now, mind you, he has cheated on his wife. Allegedly, he admitted to it in 2017. 3 years after that Solange incident in the elevator. Don't know if he did admit it, never heard it, don't know nothing about it. But anyway, just bringing you the latest he said, she said, which I really don't like doing, but it is what it is. Should she leave her husband? 77% yes, 9% no, 14% not sure. Very interesting. New allegation coming from a person claiming to have been Sean Puffy Combs' personal assistant. He is alleging sexual improprieties by Mr. Combs, sexual urges, urging him to perform acts, drugs, trafficking drugs, different allegations. that's the latest with Sean. I'll try to bring you another separate update on that, but just to let you know, Law and Crime has a video on that said information. And as the commentary went, this guy probably has already given information to the grand jury. He's possibly already been involved with the government in giving information and testimony about his dealings with Sean Puffy Combs. More nonsense with Sean. Once again, Jay-Z's case, the civil case is going forward. He and his attorneys have asked that the young lady's name be mentioned, revealed, but the judge denied that request, so the victim will remain anonymous. I brought you a video yesterday pertaining to Sebastian Rogers and his case, and News 2 did a brief video pertaining to social media and the hype of this green hoodie video and everyone going crazy about what they thought they saw in the video. So I asked the question pertaining to that video. Sumner County Sheriff says the green hoodie man in the Texas Roadhouse video has no relation to Sebastian Rogers. He's been vetted. I also mentioned in that video there's a possibility that this man was already talked to months ago, other people at the restaurant, outside the restaurant, or it could be he saw his image on videos on YouTube and he went into the police station recently to let them know, I don't know these people, I don't know the mom, the kid, blah, blah, blah. I don't have anything to do with anything. And as I told you in the video before, the man could sue some of these creators for showing his image in videos, and this investigation team working with the Proudfoots or Seth, whoever released the video first, to say, hey, why are you involving me in something that I don't have any knowledge of? Okay? Because eventually, as I said, somebody will get a hold of his name and they'll put his name out there. Anyway, Sumner County says no relation to the child. I asked you all, do you believe this assertion? This commentary by the sheriff, 39% of you do believe this man knows the child or relations to the child or the mother. 33% of you say you don't, and 28% of you are not sure. Wow, 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 wow. Let's get back to this Colonial Heights debacle coming out of Virginia. I've got two videos I want to show you pertaining to more information relayed about this dirty nursing home. So now we learned that there are sister properties, facilities owned by the same company. That's why I was questioning other people allegedly working after being arrested. Well, they sent them to other nursing homes to work. Wow.
Healthcare Management LLC is listed as the owner of Colonial Heights Rehab and Nursing Center, and records show that the same company also operates 5 other facilities in Virginia, including some that have been at the center of previous CBS 6 investigations.
Wow.
Overall, the chain has a CMS rating of 1.8 out of 5 stars, which shows, according to the government, that this company's facilities have not performed well during inspections. They also have much lower staffing levels than the national average, with higher percentages of turnover. Out of 603 nursing home chains in the country, Innovative Healthcare Management's rating ranks at 516, so that's the bottom 15%. When I asked the company for a response to these CMS ratings, a spokesperson said, "We are focused as always on the care of our residents. Their well-being remains first and foremost." Now, the same company also owns Glen Burnie and Westport nursing homes in Henrico. Both are 1-star facilities.
Absolutely pitiful, disgusting, deplorable. Any words you can think of that's horrendous is the word for it.
CBS 6 recently reported on Westport. Heather Tyler's husband was there, and she claims he was left to sit in his urine for hours, his room was dirty, and that he suffered unexplained injuries.
I was really so angry, so incredibly angry. I just cried.
Then there was Steve Lambert, who alleged that he found his brother, who could not move himself, at Westport half-dressed, in a prone position, and laying in a bed covered in someone else's dead skin.
No one should have to live and be treated and cared for under those conditions.
Tyler and Lambert submitted complaints to the backlogged Virginia Department of Health, and it took them 8 months to begin investigating. VDH eventually substantiated their complaints and found that Westport staff failed to give a patient their HIV medication for 3 weeks, yet the staff documented that they administered it anyway.
You've done multiple stories on this, and it really is a significant
HIV medicine. Did I hear that right? HIV meds. You failed to give the person the HIV. So what? You want the person to die? Elderly black man lying in a bed, face down. How did he get that way? Wearing a diaper. Gown off of him. This black man in this commentary is going to tell you he can't move. He has muscle issues, so he can't turn himself, sit up, do all those type of things. So that means somebody put the black man down there, face down on a bed. Well, what were you doing with him? Help me understand. Then the other lady's talking about her husband having wounds on him that she couldn't explain. So what I have to ask this lady, did you remove your husband from the facility? Did you leave him there? Is he still alive, deceased? Well, I think you know the worst case scenario of the black man lying down in the bed, face down. The company that owns these nursing homes have bad reviews, 1-star ratings. So now we got to ask the ultimate question. Why has the health department not shut these places down? Why are you still allowing them to be open facilities, caring for patients? 1 star, 1.8. 1.8. That's not good. And we've heard these horrible stories about people going into nursing homes, rehab centers, to only come out worse than how they went in. And we know what worse means, which is death. That's why if you care about your loved one, you need to check them out from head to toe when you visit. May seem invasive, but if you care about your loved one, you will disrobe them and check their body to make sure they're being bathed, make sure they don't have any lesions, they don't have any bed sores. You don't want to wait until it's too late. Because there are a lot of people who go to these nursing homes, they're only going temporarily until maybe a family member can come get them, or they need special care for a little while until other arrangements can be made. And then there's other people who go in there for like hip replacements, knee replacements. They're not going there to live and move in. They're just there to get rehabilitated and then come back home. But if you have someone that's not caring for you, they're not helping you bathe, they're not helping you go to the restroom, they're not changing your diaper, they're not giving you your meds, you'll probably end up staying in the damn nursing home. And we've seen those stories of people supposedly going in there for temporarily, and next thing you know, they're in there long term. And some people do need to be there. They cannot take care of themselves at home. They don't have a caregiver. Maybe they don't have the monies for a private caregiver, different circumstances, financial, or they don't have the family to take care of them, or they have family they don't want to take care of them.
Significant concerns, so thank you for staying on the case.
Amid these concerns, Delegate Rodney Willett plans to support legislation that he says will help VDH provide more effective oversight of nursing homes. As CBS 6 uncovered in a previous investigation, the understaffed agency has the 3rd worst rate in the country for overdue inspections, and it has limited state enforcement powers to penalize poor performers. For example, VDH says it cannot fine facilities without petitioning in court or require training for staff.
It's not acceptable that Virginia lags in this area, and the department's ready to step up. I think they're looking for these additional resources and additional options, additional flexibilities in terms of how enforce those requirements.
Willett also supports raising licensing fees so that the state can hire more health investigators. Last year, he introduced a bill that would have increased nursing home ownership disclosures, but that did not pass.
I do think that regardless of who's operating the facility, We have our standards, and we need to enforce those standards.
The Virginia Healthcare Association, which lobbies on behalf of the nursing home industry, says it does support increasing licensing fees. However, it would not say whether it supports enhancing the enforcement options for VDH. They say that facilities are already subject to significant sanctions at the federal level. I'm Tyler Lane for CBS 6 News.
Well, something has to give. And sadly, we live in a world where there always has to be a worst case scenario. I was saying that to myself yesterday, bringing you this content pertaining to this nursing home, and then reading these stories in the queue, listening to these videos about the people, in the apartment complex building in New York with the rats running around, holes in the wall, leaking pipes. This is every day in America. Something where somebody is negligent of something. It just goes on and on and on. Every day you can find something to complain about in this world, sadly. Mangy landlords, mangy rental companies, managing properties for mangy landlords. Landlords don't want to repair anything, fix anything, but want rent money. Nursing homes, rehabs that don't want to treat the staff properly, treat the patients properly, take care of them, give them their meds, change their diapers, turn them, move them, so on and so forth. Hospitals, same thing. People going to work high, doped up, picking the wrong medicine out the machine. Teachers going to work drunk, mad, violent. It's every day. Because we have people who just don't give a fuck. They want to go to the job and half-ass do the job. That's the problem. That's what's wrong with the world in general. Everybody's wanting something for nothing. Yeah, I'll just lallygag in this job, don't comb my hair, go in with a bad attitude, don't take a bath, and then I ain't gonna do shit when I get there. You see it every day. You could just go through this YouTube queue and pull up video for video for video. Go online and pull up article of somebody doing something they ain't got no damn business or lack of. The elderly are like children. They once were a child, and now they have gone back to being a kid. Either dementia, physical ailments, mental disabilities, so on and so forth. So it is our job to help them until they leave here. But we're not supposed to help them leave here. There's a difference. You can't have that attitude, well, he's already old, she's sick. We'll just help them get to their resting place. No, that's not the attitude you're supposed to have. And if you have that type of attitude, you don't need to be in healthcare. CNA, LPN, director, night nurse, head nurse, orderly, nothing. Hospital, private care, or nursing home. And you keep hearing these same stories about lack of care. So now we have this Colonial Heights put on blast, and now we hear other facilities are ran by the same nursing home with a 1.8 rating. 359 complaints. This is absolutely ridiculous. And as you heard this man say, we're not going to stand for this. Don't care if the health departments and the people have their protocol of finding the nursing homes or whatever. We don't care about that. We want justice for these elderly people. Whether we know them or not, whether they are our family or not, it's principle. We are all going to get older. That's what people need to understand. You are going to get sick one day. You're going to get hurt one day. You could be 22 years old and go out here and have a car wreck, and now you are in a nursing home. You can't never say what's going to happen to you, because a lot of people look at their lives that way. Well, I'm healthy. I eat right. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I do this, blah, blah, blah. That's not the point. The point is you can go out here and get hit by a fucking tractor trailer and end up in a nursing home. End up ICU, in a coma, Now, someone has to care for you. And you better hope, whether you are lucid or not, that someone does right by you. That's why a lot of people are going to get an eye-opening experience in life, especially those who are hotheads, okay? Who are hotheads, and they're walking around thinking their shit don't stink, and they're thinking they're going to live forever, and they're going to be vital and vibrant. You don't know what can happen to you in the blink of an eye. People fall every day. People get hurt every day on their jobs. You go out here right now and slip on some ice, break your neck. Now you need care. Do you have the money? Do you have the insurance? Now you got to worry about your livelihood, paying car notes, rent, mortgage. See, people don't think about that because I'm going to live forever. I'm strong, I'm virile. Right now, you're strong and virile. But you don't know what's going to happen within the next hour, tomorrow, 2 weeks from now. Terrible things happen to good people all the time. And a lot of people need to get off their high horse thinking they're going to sustain life until death. That you're going to be walking around and you could be able to drive a car, wipe yourself, bathe yourself, cook for yourself. You don't know what shape you're going to be in. So you can be honorary at 20, you can be honorary at 50, honorary at 60, thinking you're going to always be in the same shape. No, you're not. You better hope you can get to 80 years old and still bathe, wipe yourself properly, cook yourself a meal, walk without a walker or a cane, walk and not need a hover around. You better hope, pray God favors you to where you don't need any assistance in your old age or even young age. Let's hear more about this disgusting company. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault XL. Welcome all new viewers and new subs.
Surrounded by family.
Love laughing.
A stark difference from how Lambert discovered Winfred on December 16th last year. He had just been admitted to the Westport Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in Henrico in declining health.
And immediately we were horrified. He was lying in a prone position. As you can see, the hospital gown is barely on him. It's on one shoulder. He's in a depend.
Winfred was found face down in his bed, his gown not covering him and his adult diaper exposed. Lambert says his brother cannot move himself due to muscle loss and has an intellectual disability.
I cried. My wife and I cried. We sat him up on the bed, and he started crying.
Lambert.
How long was the brother lying down like that? Because if the brother is telling us that his own brother couldn't move, he has a disability of movement, then how did he get in that position? And how long was he like that when Mr. Lambert walked into the room, he and the wife? Imagine walking into the room, seeing your loved one like that, and you know they cannot move themselves, can't sit up, can't swivel their legs out of the bed. First thing you're going to say is, okay, why is he or she lying down like that? Why are they half dressed? How long have they been that way? Checkmate. So I'm going to ask, nursing home staff, how long was this man lying down in this position? Why did you leave him like that? Or could it be this man got some type of strength and he was trying to get out of there maybe? Who's to say? I don't know. Desperate people do desperate things. Was the man trying to shift his body to do something, trying to get some help? Maybe he wasn't feeling well. I don't know, but this man says he couldn't move. So why was he in that position? And how long was he in that position? This is terrible. But the best thing about this scenario are people like Mr. Lambert. They have come forward. They're showing their face. They're showing you the pictures they took. They kept documentation. He stayed on the ball about his brother. and I commend him, because some people won't. They'll just push it under the rug. Oh, well, they owe. Don't worry about it. Well, you need to remember one day you might be in your brother or sister's situation, and you will want someone to fight for you. And luckily, this man loved his brother, and he fought until the very end to get justice for his brother of his mistreatment inside of this facility.
Member was then concerned about these particles he found in the vents and this large flakes of what appeared to be someone else's skin.
It was all over his bed and the floor.
Now, Lambert understands facilities like these must adhere to government standards and federal regulations on the care and safety of patients, because he was an associate director with the Virginia Department of Social Services Licensing Division, overseeing adult services and enforcement.
And based on my professional experience, I found the condition that my brother was in, as well as the gentleman that was in the room with him, totally unacceptable.
So the very next day, Lambert submitted this complaint to the Virginia Department of Health. VDH is the agency responsible for inspecting nursing homes. And he submitted another complaint on December 23rd, alleging Winfred, who had a compromised respiratory system, was placed on a unit for COVID patients and then contracted the virus. But
let's go there. So Mr. Lambert followed through, filing the appropriate complaints. Brother is on the COVID unit floor. Why? Why do you have a person who's already ill on a unit and they don't have COVID? Stay woke, everybody. It's almost like you all are trying to knock these people off to just move them out of the bed, to then get another frail person in their placement and then do the same thing. Lack of care, they die, push them out the bed, put another one in the bed. This is almost like a business of knocking off elderly, sick people. Checkmate. I'm woke. Are you woke? Read it how you want. Flakes of another person's body in the bed where he's sleeping. Make it make sense. Flakes on the floor, debris in the vents. So they're not even cleaning the vents in the room. So that means they're not doing a whole lot of other things, because you see one thing begets another. So now it's stair step, you see, of lack of care. It's from the top to the bottom. We got the person coming in the room that's supposed to be flipping and changing and mopping and cleaning. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't tending to the person in the bed. You got the person that's probably supposed to clean the room. They not cleaning. You're supposed to have technicians come in to clean the vents, the air vents, air conditioning, heating units. They ain't coming in. You ain't hiring them. You ain't paying them because you're trying to save money. Queen woke. So everybody's half-stepping their job. So we're not going to even talk about the people who probably cook the damn food. What you putting in the food? A little rat poison? I said that. Hell, everybody's half-stepping on their job. Night nurse, nursing director. As you will hear in this commentary I brought to you earlier, they have been denied bond for the Colonial Heights nursing home because they were signing off on fake documentation of work being done by the staff. The night nurse is denying she did anything wrong. The nursing director, her lawyer says, well, we're just going to fight it in court. Yeah, you won't fight it in court because you don't want to give an opinion that she's innocent, because you already know she signed off on what the nurse said. See, it's stair step. Nursing director putting check marks on paperwork. Okay, bye. Night nurse going through. She's falsifying documents of what the staff members under her are supposed to be doing. Are you paying attention to what the queen is saying? It's stair step. CNAs ain't doing their job by attending to the patients. The night nurse is checking off the paperwork, lying that they're doing their job. And then the director, she's over the night nurse. She's doing the same thing, checking the box. But they're all falsifying documentation. In the commentary that I brought you pertaining to the other Colonial Heights and these entities. At Colonial Heights, we have 18 warrants issued. 12 were arrested, bonded out. told the judge they will hire their own counsel, which is strange to me. You have been 9 times out of 10 fired by this company, I would assume. But then we learned they were still working. Ding, ding, ding. At these other facilities. Stay woke. When all this went down, they moved these workers to other locations. Because I thought that was strange when I brought you all that commentary. I said, well, what are they saying? That they're still working? Working where? Oh, it dawned on me. They must have other facilities. Ding, ding, ding. That's the commentary I'm playing for you now. You're going to hire a lawyer. Who's hiring the lawyer for you? The company? Now, that's going to be the gist of the story if we find out the company has hired counsel for the 12. Because don't you find it strange? All 12 told the judge, we don't need a public defender. Anybody listening to this commentary? This sounds like some higher up P. Diddy type SHIT. How do you plead? Not guilty. Do you need a public defender? No. I'm going to hire me a lawyer. You making how much an hour and you can hire a lawyer? Come on with it, Queen. Break it on down. If you can hire a lawyer, then you should be working another type of job somewhere. Besides a nursing home. Come on with it. Wow. The plot thickens. I smell BS. I smell a cover up. And what these people who bonded out need to understand, you better pray you get a lenient judge, because your other co-workers, superiors rather, 2 of them have been denied bond, the nursing director and the night nurse. Because that woman died, that 4-year-old black lady. She's no longer alive from the lack of care she got from you all at that nursing home in Colonial Heights. So if you think this is a joke, you should know better, because you got arrested. And you rarely hear people getting arrested in nursing homes, hospitals, because somebody died on shift. But somebody said, we got to stop this. And I'm glad that they did.
Months went by without a reply.
I found it very disheartening that the Department of Health had not responded.
On March 23rd of this year, Lambert's brother died, but he was still determined to have his complaints investigated.
That condition could very well be more widespread. Now, I can't say that it was, but unless you conduct an investigation, you don't know.
So he checked in with VDH in March for an update. They said his complaint was still pending. He checked in again in July and still pending. At that point, Lambert says the director of licensure, Kim Beasley, told him they received a large number of overall complaints and her office was facing staffing issues. CBS 6 confirmed through a public records request that the office is down 19 long-term care medical facility inspectors out of 48 positions. That's a 40% vacancy rate.
19 long-term medical care facility inspectors out of 48 positions. They don't have 19 inspectors. 40% vacancy rate. Yes, I am. Thank you, sweetheart. So this is an entirely different agency that's supposed to be going in to regulate protocol for the nursing homes. What did I just tell you about one thing begets another? So now we've left the nursing home facilities with poor staffing, poor etiquette, no ethical work done by the staff, all the way up to directors. And now you have the agency that's supposed to investigate these people, and they don't even have people to damn work. Stay woke. Now imagine the people who go out to the facilities, they're half-stepping, and they don't check the box to say, yeah, this place is in violation. So they just walk in with a clipboard and start looking at stuff they know's wrong, but they just check the box and say, oh, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay, that's good, that's good, that's good. Do you all see where I'm going with this commentary? That this is a stair step of violations by different parties. Nursing home manager, whoever's owning, running it, they are turning a blind eye to what is needed in the facility. The director of nursing not doing her job, his job. Night nurses not doing their job, falsifying documentation. The staff that's supposed to be taking care of the elderly people, they're not doing their job. Then you got to go and look at the people who are supposed to be cleaning the rooms, cleaning the facility, mopping, sweeping. The people supposed to come in to check the air vents, things like that. That goes back to who's running it, because you're supposed to be the person that hires the contractors to come in to check the plumbing, the heat and air. Do you see where I'm going? This is just a big circle of misfits. Now we have a whole different agency that's on its own. They don't even got the appropriate people to do the damn work to check the damn nursing homes to make sure they're following protocol. This is abhorrent.
My response question would be, well, what are you doing about it?
VDH uses a prioritization system from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, to determine how quickly they should investigate complaints. The timeline separates allegations into immediate jeopardy, which require a response within 3 days, and non-immediate jeopardy, which, depending on the severity of the complaint, require inspection in 15 days, 45 days, or at the lowest severity level, potentially during the next on-site survey. VDH would not confirm how Lambert's complaint was prioritized, but even if it was at the lowest level, records show that VDH inspected Westport in February of this year, 2 months after Lambert's complaints. We asked VDH whether that meant Lambert's complaint should have been investigated then, and a spokesperson did not answer the question. But the next day, Lambert says he got a phone call from VDH saying they had initiated the investigation 8 months later.
Wow.
No one should have to live and be treated and cared for under those conditions, particularly if they can't, advocate for themselves, which was the situation with my brother. They have a regulatory responsibility to provide the proper oversight of facilities like that.
But look at
how atrocious is this? This man was steadfastly trying to do right by his brother. 8 months later, you decide to send somebody out to investigate the nursing home. Do you know how much damage can be done in 8 months to a human being? Plural. 8 months. They're already elderly, sickly, and in the damn nursing home. They're there for a reason. They're not there because they want to be there. Most people know that the average person does not want to go to a nursing home. They'd rather be dead than go to a nursing home. You've heard many elderly people say it. I'd rather die at home. But that's the point. Somebody still has to be there with you to take care of you. That's why they're in the nursing home. So imagine going to a nursing home and nobody there cares to take care of you. The staff don't care. The head knockers don't care. And then the government, who has agencies such as this VDH or whomever, they don't even have people working for them because they don't have people to fill the position. Why? You don't have anybody you can train? You have to have a degree? What's the protocol for the education you need to be an inspector? Curious. Well, give an incentive. Do like most agencies do. They put out a memo. Hey, we're looking for such and such, such and such. We're offering this. We'll help pay for the schooling, bonuses to get you into a position somewhere, blah, blah, blah. Come on now. Teachers, you need police officers, you need FBI agents, you need what? You put out a memo. Do something to make it seem exciting. Hey, we're in need. We're giving out this. We're giving a bonus, blah, blah, blah. Hello. So now we have to ask ourselves why the agency was at a 40% vacancy rate. That means somebody don't want to do that kind of work. That's what it seems to me. And I have always said it about any job. I don't care if it's McDonald's, Department of Human Services, the school board, teachers, professors. Whenever you have a high rate of people not filling the position, there's a reason. That means you have a high turnover rate, which you heard about the facilities owned by this company. They have a high turnover rate of probably the people coming and going as patients and also staff. Because one, the people are dying because they're not getting the adequate care, or their parents and family members are taking them out of the nursing home. And then the people are probably quitting the job or being fired. Take your pick.
And how that oversight is going in our state. Nationally, CMS data shows Virginia has the 4th highest percentage of nursing homes that are overdue for inspection at 66%. The national average is 22.7%. The Commonwealth is also significantly below the national averages in 2023 for percentages of providers that received a standard inspection and were investigated for complaints at just 39% and 58% respectively.
We're dealing with some of the most vulnerable people. And so they need a system in place to provide the proper oversight in a timely and effective manner to ensure that these vulnerable
VDH declined an interview for this story, and I reached out to Westport for a response to the allegations in Lambert's complaint, and I've not yet heard back. Medicaid.gov shows that Westport has a 1 out of 5 star rating for health inspections, with 62 complaints resulting in a citation over the last 3 years. And in Henrico County, I'm Tyler Lane, CBS 6 News.
1 out of 5 stars. So, Virginia, what are you going to do about this situation? You're the Commonwealth, whatever the hell that means. Whatever the hell that means. When are you all going to step up to the plate and acknowledge you have a problem with, one, the inspectors, because they have to be the ones to go out to inspect the facilities. So see, as I keep telling people, everything starts at the top and then you go to the bottom, back up. They don't have inspectors, so you can't get anything done when people complain about their loved one or what they see on the job. It's all the same. Somebody's got to go out to look at the place, to come back with a rendering. They just told you, 40% vacancy. They don't even have the appropriate staff to do the inspections. Now you got to work with the people in the facility who are going to work just getting a check and doing nothing and lying on documents that, yeah, Peter Paul got his medicine, blah, blah, blah. You have this black man here showing you pictures of his loved one before death, lying in filth, lying in somebody else's dead skin particles on the floor, vents nasty. So that makes you believe you all were lying the patients in what? Dirty sheets, somebody else's sheets. You just switch the sheets and put them on the bed. See, this is why I keep telling you, you got to pay attention to what I'm saying. This is deeper than just the staff members. Everybody's working in a circle doing nothing. Because you got to remember, somebody has to tend to the patient, clean the room, change the sheets, wash the sheets. Hello. Then here comes the nurse who's supposed to be watching over the staff members. She wasn't doing her job. That's why she's in jail right now with no bond. Then you have the nursing director over the night nurse. She has no bond because she was also signing off on the false documentation of what the nurse was supposed to be doing. Do you see where I'm going with this? This is a stair-step situation. Whoever's owning the company, the facility, they're not doing their job because they are allowing these people to do anything. Obviously, they're not auditing paperwork to check to make sure everybody's doing his or her job. Because naturally, in a nursing facility, you have different people doing different things. What did I just say? Somebody cleans the room. Somebody cleans the patient, makes the bed. Somebody's supposed to make sure that the property's being ran properly. Light fixtures are running. Plumbing is up to par. The vents are being cleaned. Adequate heat, air. This is a big old mess. That's what you have here. It's a big mess. And this company, Colonial Heights, has sister properties, and they are just as bad. They're all gross negligence of their patients. So I would assume there will possibly be some lawsuits. And this black man, Mr. Lambert, has thoroughly documented all of his complaints. He took pictures of the rooms, his brother, the bedding. He was on top of his game. And I definitely would sue them. And this lady who's speaking on behalf of her mother, the 74-year-old lady who got the ball rolling for this to be now a news story, I'm sure she's going to sue as well. Because it was the lack of care of that 74-year-old lady that got her to the emergency room where the doctors noticed she had open wounds, which set up infection in her body, and she later died about, I think, a week or two after being admitted to the hospital. So sadly, it has to be a death for somebody to take notice. Somebody said, wow, this lady came from the nursing home. Look at her body. Look at her wounds. She's not being cared for. Exactly. Probably didn't get her diaper changed, undergarments changed. Probably didn't get a bath. Probably didn't get her skin moisturized. As most of you know, black people require a lot of moisture, but all skin needs moisture. So it doesn't matter if you're Arab, Jew, white, black, Puerto Rican, you need moisture. You need your hair washed. You need your scalp moisturized. Your skin needs moisturizing. Because if you leave the skin dry, it's only going to set up an infection because the skin's going to open up because it's cracked. It's common sense. This is how infection gets justice for their brother. Prayers for this lady who's come forward to speak to the news. She's in, when she gives her commentary pertaining to her mother, the 74-year-old woman who died at the hospital, and she was at Colonial Heights as a patient. If I were you, ma'am, I'd get me a lawyer and I'd sue the people who own the nursing home. And I'd also sue the state of Virginia for not having adequate inspectors to check the facility on a normal basis, because you have to have a start. And if you don't have inspectors to check the nursing homes, then people complaining is falling on deaf's ear. It's just the way it is. Because as you heard with Mr. Lambert speaking here in his commentary, he's calling, filing reports, and nobody's responding. And you're going from day to day, week to week, month to month, not hearing nothing. Nobody wants to respond. And now the head agency in Virginia, they don't even want to respond to this story of these allegations of a 1.8 rating, 1 out of 5 star rating, allegations now of the dead lady that was at Colonial Heights. You have nothing to say. I guess you don't have anything to say, but somebody has to stand account. And that's what people do in these type of situations. Everybody passed the buck to somebody else. Oh, it's her fault. It's her fault. It's his fault. I didn't do it. I don't know nothing about it. But it's stair step. It started with the little man, and that's the CNA. You work your way up the ladder, all the way to the government office. Everybody's responsible for those people in those facilities. And I get it. Depending on your income, it's going to depend on the type of care you get in a nursing home, assisted living, so on and so forth. You getting this Medicaid, Medicare, you are doomed. Because you are probably not going to get the adequate care, or your relatives not going to get the adequate care, as I brought you that commentary from the black lady that spoke about her mother who's now deceased. That's all they could afford to put her there where she went in Colonial Heights. And now look at it. She's gone. She died from her wounds. Lack of care, lack of responsibility by the Colonial Heights staff. And now 12 of those jokers have bonded out of jail and probably don't give two fucks about that old lady or their job itself. But the district attorney has let it be known in court that they cannot, number one, go back to that facility for any reason or be on the property of any of these facilities. They cannot work as a medical professional in the state of Virginia. Okay? Exactly. So what you gonna do now? Go work somewhere else, but you got a new arrest record. Not gonna look good, but somebody will hire them. Then go work at McDonald's, maybe go work at Lowe's, Wally World. Somebody will hire them. Go work at fast food joint. But I know one thing you won't be doing, you won't be working for Uber or Lyft, because they run background checks. And if you got anything on there dealing with assault, they're not going to hire you. So you have to find you some other type of job. What a world we live in. That's why the lawyer, district attorney, made sure to stipulate they can't work in other facilities or any type of medical facility or private care, because they found out that they were working for the other facilities. Okay? They found out they were working for other facilities. So they made sure to put that in the stipulation with their release from bond. Release bond. They can't work at any capacity, medical field, medical position. So they think they're going to go run over to another facility owned by their company or another company. Hell no, you can't. As for the night nurse and the nursing director, I don't think they care, because they falsified documents about the care of the patients. And the night nurse is already telling the public, I ain't done nothing wrong. I didn't do nothing. Okay, well, keep that same attitude in front of 12 members of a jury and see what happens. The director, she's not saying anything. I think she knows better. I best keep my mouth closed. Her lawyer said, we'll let it play out in court. It ain't gonna change the outcome. You lied. You and that night nurse falsified documents. You ran off of what she said, and she lied about what the staff were doing under her. So you're both guilty. And the staff members, that's why they were arrested as well, because everybody played a part in the demise of the 74-year-old woman and the non-care of the residents. They also said that they will not be taking in new patients at Colonial Heights. Well, thank you. The gist is, what are they going to do with the patients they already have there? Because allegedly a week or two ago, they said they had hired staff to staff the place for the ones who got arrested. And I told myself, I know you ain't hired nobody within a day or two of these other people being arrested. That don't sound right. So I'm going to tell you what they did. They went and took them from other places that they owned and brought them in there to work, and then took the ones who got arrested and moved them to other facilities that they own. So they were just swapping. This is how low down this company is. Switching out staff members. So if you got staff members over at Colonial Heights not doing their job, why would I think that staff members from your other sister facilities, they are doing any better to those patients? Probably not. Because you lead by example. And you're not going to have one facility that's low budget and have 5-star facilities around the corner and in other cities. And as you heard in this commentary, all of the facilities ran by this company have a 1-star rating. It's pathetic. Cite this company. Families need to sue this company. The state needs to shut this company down, and they need to close these facilities. Now, where these people will go, I don't know, but they don't need to go nowhere in these people's care. They don't need to be under their care. And the only way you can get justice is you put a thorn in the side of the perpetrators. It's the only way there's going to be justice. Trying to move other people in to pick up the slack? No, hell no. Because the company is still making money, you see. They are the problem as well because they are running the 1-star facilities, these low-rent motels. You check in and you're going to surely check out if you get my drift. But it ain't going to be the way you think you're going to check out. So stop the problem, cite the company, find the company, and shut down all the names under the company's name. Checkmate. At the beginning of this live, I brought you commentary of 2 black men that got into an altercation down in Memphis at the Kroger distribution center. One had incited an argument or was arguing with another man, Mr. Todd. Mr. Hopkins was trying to fight this Mr. Todd. Hopkins 38, Todd 55. Eyewitnesses say he tried to get the man to an area where there were no cameras to fight. That wasn't good enough. He just walked up to the man directly with his skull cap down over his face. Mr. Todd decided to tussle with him, and then Mr. Todd pulled out a knife and began stabbing Mr. Hopkins 38 to death. He is facing a 2nd-degree murder charge for the murder of the 38-year-old employee. As I said in my commentary, please feel free to go back to the beginning of the live stream. Mr. Hopkins, he got what he was looking for. He wanted a fight, so he got a fight. He also got a death sentence. And I don't feel sorry for him because no matter what, he is or was a hothead. Football coach, father, arguing over football on the job. You're supposed to be working. And instead of you working your job, you're arguing with another man who's almost old enough to be your damn father. Why? Because your spirit wasn't right. And I won't doubt that he's had altercations with other people on the job, other people in life. So will we find out that Mr. Hopkins, who is now the dead man, he has a criminal record, been in trouble before, fighting, arguing with supervisors, other employees. Who wants to fight on the job anyway? It's not like somebody went up to you and did something to you and you started fighting on the job. You're fighting over football, for God's sake. Were they friends before? Did they know each other? Did they hang with each other outside of the job? I don't know, but I know one thing. It should have never led to any type of altercation or argument because football is not that serious worth arguing over, period. Whether you are at your job or at a bar or at home, a picnic, a party, who cares? It's a bunch of men running around in tights, chasing pigskin. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. And they said Mr. Todd did not want to fight Mr. Hopkins. But Mr. Hopkins was determined to go over there and get that man off the forklift and bother him. And so they fought. And Mr. Hopkins, 55, pulled out a knife and stabbed him several times. And the eyewitness happens to be a relative cousin of the dead man. She says he got stabbed here, and then he cut his throat. Some going to say that was extreme. The district attorney is going to say it was extreme. Why didn't you walk away? Why didn't you step out? Why didn't you run? I guess the black man said, why should I? Why should I have to run? Now, some going to argue, yeah, he should have fought him back. Some going to say he should have walked off. Some going to say he shouldn't have pulled a knife out. But he did. And that's the whole point of the story. You can't go back. The dead man can't go back. Because all he had to do was let it go. Because he initiated this fight. But then the old saying is, you don't have to respond to an argument. Very true. So one could say the one who had the knife should have stopped arguing with him. But I don't think it would have mattered because Mr. Hopkins was determined to fight this man. That's why they said he was trying to lure him to an unsecured area to fight. So that just tells me right there, he wasn't going to be satisfied whether Mr. Todd argued with him or not. They had words. He wanted to have the last say, but instead he got a death warrant. And that's the thing about people. You can't stop people from doing what they want to do, even if you don't respond. Because I'm sure, as I said, that's going to be the argument in court. Well, you didn't have to argue back. You didn't have to fight him back when he pulled your skull cap down. But as they always say, you weren't there and you weren't in my shoes. Because it's easy to say what a person should or should not have done, right? We do it all the time. Walk away, don't argue, don't bicker. But imagine, as I just said, you walk away, you stop arguing, you don't respond, period, and the person taps you on the shoulder, pulls your hair, pulls your skull cap down. Now what? You just gonna stand there? Be humiliated as a man or a woman? Somebody's now violated you and put their hands on you. Because as I said, it's easy to say, don't respond, but he's a man. And as I said, not to be racial, he's a black man. And I can't see that black man standing there allowing another man to violate his person without retaliating. Now, maybe he shouldn't have pulled out the knife, but he did. And he got the best of Mr. Hopkins. That's my commentary. I share the post on my community page. Follow me on the news app. And another day, talk about Sean Puffy Combs' latest allegation against him. Welcome all new subs, viewers. Thank you for your time. Happy holidays. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Please be safe. Going into the new year, be aware of your faculties. If you're still out shopping, buying gifts, be aware of what you post on social media. God bless all of you. Happy trails, everybody. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie. 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during this live stream and any live stream. Prayers for the Lambert family, the 74-year-old woman who passed away from Colonial Heights Nursing Home. Prayers for her daughter and family. Prayers for justice for these people, that they get justice for their loved ones. And I also pray that this nursing home, Colonial Heights, and other sister facilities will be closed down, and that the owner will be cited for improprieties and lack of care of the elderly. Rightfully so. Check out my community page for movies of the week and weekend suggestions. The Grim Sleeper on Tubi. Also Damage, starring Samuel L. Jackson. Tubi. You all have a wonderful weekend. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Thank you so much for following this network.